Good morning, Your Excellency, esteemed dignitaries, distinguished scholars, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the International Conference on the Significance of Sanskrit, Prakrit, and Pali in Suvarṇabhūmi. This conference is jointly organized by the Sanskrit Study Center, Silpakorn University, and the Department of Oriental Languages, Faculty of Archaeology, Silpakorn University, Bangkok, in association with the Indian Studies Network of Thailand, supported by the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, and the Sanskrit Studies Foundation under the esteemed patronage of Her Royal Highness Princess Maha Chakri Sirindhorn. My name is Supriya Japjai, PhD student in Sanskrit, serving you as today's MC.
Thank you very much, sir. May I invite Assistant Professor Dr. Chirapat to guide His Excellency, Mr. Nagesh Singh, Ambassador of India to Thailand. And next to Professor Dr. Tanasait Ngawhirunpat ค่ะ Dr. Thirakiat Charan Sethasin ค่ะ MD, former Minister of Education of Thailand and scholar in Sanskrit and Para Studies. Dr. Bancha Phongpanit ค่ะ Director of Watthana Interpanyo. And next นะคะ Assistant Professor Dr. Damrongpol Injan ค่ะ Dean Faculty of Archaeology Silpakorn University. And last but not least, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Director of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, Bangkok.
Your Excellencies, distinguished scholars, esteemed guests, respected faculty members, and valued participants. On behalf of the Silpakorn University and the Faculty of Archaeology, I am deeply honored to extend a heartfelt welcome to the International Conference on the Significance of Sanskrit, Prakrit, and Pali in Suvarṇabhūmi. This distinguished gathering at the Sanskrit Study Center, Silpakorn University, marks a pivotal moment in our shared commitment to advancing the study of classical language and their profound influence on the cultural and historical landscape of Southeast Asia. The conference epitomizes that academic excellence and cross-cultural engagement that Silpakorn University actively fosters. We are privileged to welcome H.E. Nagesh Singh for inaugural address, Dr. Thirakiat Charan Sethasin for the keynote address, and Dr. Bancha Phongpanit for their insightful remarks. Their contribution will provide invaluable perspectives to shape our discussions. For decades, the Faculty of Archaeology at Silpakorn University has been at the forefront of historical and Oriental language studies, demonstrating an enduring dedication to preserving and promoting Southeast Asia rich heritage. This conference reaffirms our commitment to rigorous research, international collaboration, and the meticulous study of Sanskrit, Prakrit, and Pali, ensuring their lasting significance for future generations. Furthermore, Silpakorn University Sanskrit Study Centers stand as a cornerstone of excellence in classical language studies. As a leading institution in Southeast Asia, it plays an instrumental role in fostering research, education, and international collaboration. More than an academic hub, it serves as a foundation pillar for scholars seeking to understand the region's intricate heritage. As we explore for the lasting legacy of this language and their impact on religion, philosophy, art, literature, and governance in Suvarṇabhūmi. Let us embrace our responsibility as scholars and educators. The knowledge we generate today will deepen our understanding of the past and inspire new insight for the future. I extend my sincere gratitude to the Sanskrit Study Center, our esteemed academic partners, and all participants. May this conference illuminate scholarly discourse, enhance Silpakorn University academic prestige, and strengthen global dialogue on our shared cultural heritage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Tanasait Ngawhirunpat, so much.
It is indeed a pleasure to be here today at the Sanskrit Study Center for the inaugural of the International Conference on the significance of Sanskrit, Prakrit and Pali in Suvarṇabhūmi. It is a remarkable topic because just a few months back in India, the government of India declared Prakrit and Pali as classical languages, which was a big step for promotion of these two languages. Because when in India a language is designated as a classical language, it means a lot of resources, financial, human, and other kinds of resources are committed by the government of India to promote these languages. And it was no coincidence that these languages were, besides Sanskrit, which was earlier designated as a classical language, it was no coincidence that the government of India made this designation, because we realized that these languages, although ancient and not spoken by too many people, I mean, even in India, we are 1.4 billion people. I'd be surprised if more than 5 or 6% of the people speak that language. But realizing the importance of this language, not just as a cultural heritage of our country, but also as a deep connect between India and this larger region. I mean, today I'll talk about Southeast Asia, although we live in Thailand. My basic instinct is to talk about India-Thailand relations. But this deep Indian influence, because Professor Sombath had asked me to speak about India-Thailand, India's influence on Southeast Asia. Some people have started describing it as Indosphere, the new book written by a Scottish historian, William Dalrymple, who lives in India. He's written a book called The Golden Road, and he's named it as Indosphere, although the Indosphere also extends to the west towards Europe, etc. But we will focus today on Southeast Asia. And I'll keep giving examples of Thailand. But I must also say I feel a bit overwhelmed and nervous because there's so many experts sitting here that in Hindi we say ki Suraj ko diya dikhana. That is, for me, in my humble understanding of this region and our spiritual connect, it will be like me trying to show lamp to the sun. So forgive me if I say something which is very, very ordinary and common. But as I have been given this responsibility, let me talk about India's influence. And I wouldn't call it influence, but I think I'll call it India's connections with Southeast Asia. India and Southeast Asia have deep-rooted historical connections that encompass religion, culture, architectural and spiritual domains, which make their relationship unique and distinct in the contemporary world order. The relationship is one that is rooted in a strong historical tradition spanning centuries. India's historical and cultural influence on Southeast Asia is a testament to the enduring bonds forged over millennia of interaction and exchange. Maritime trade relations formed the foundation of the long-standing relationship between India and this region. This interaction also resulted in extensive cultural exchanges and eventually led to a blend of Indian culture with local culture in Southeast Asia. The flow of goods, ideas, trade, and people from India to Southeast Asia go back to thousands of years. And we saw some of the evidence of that outside in that beautiful exhibition. And I thank you for that, for giving me a chance to see those very valuable artifacts. This intermingling of various cultures was possible due to the high mobility by sea-bound trade and eventual settlement by the Indian diaspora in this region. In this context, the Tamil connections to Southeast Asia can also be traced back to almost 2,000 years, encompassing the domains of cultural, architectural, linguistic, and religious influence, amongst others. Medieval Tamil inscriptions present in Sumatra and Thailand shed light on the trade relations and mention important association of Indian merchants with this region. The relationship between India and Southeast Asia dates back to ancient times when the maritime trade routes connected the two regions. Indian traders known as Banjaras or Saudagar ventured across the seas, bringing with them not just goods, but ideas, beliefs, and cultural practices. The spread of Hinduism and Buddhism from the Indian subcontinent profoundly impacted the spiritual and intellectual landscape of Southeast Asia. Indian merchants established flourishing trading settlements in ports like Funan, which is in present-day Cambodia and Vietnam, parts of Vietnam, Sri Vijaya in Sumatra, and the Chola dynasty in what is now Tamil Nadu in southern India, Chola dynasty's maritime empire. These trade networks facilitated the exchange of goods such as spices, textiles, and precious stones, enriching both Indian and Southeast Asian societies. To delve deeper into the ancient connections between India and Southeast Asia, here are a few testaments. I mean, we talked about the Funan civilization between the 1st and 6th century AD. This was one of the earliest, I'm told, and I think Achan Chirapat or somebody else told me that the earliest Sanskrit inscriptions found in Funan attest to the adoption of Indian languages and scripts, indicating the extent of Indian cultural influence going back to 1st century AD. That's almost 2,100 years ago. In Sri Vijaya, a powerful maritime empire based on the island of Sumatra played a crucial role in facilitating trade between India, China, and other parts of Southeast Asia. Indian merchants and scholars frequented Sri Vijaya's port, contributing to the dissemination of Indian culture, religion, and ideas. The influence of Indian culture in Sri Vijaya is evident in the architecture of temples like Chandi Muara Takus and inscriptions found in Malay language using Pallava script derived from ancient Tamil Nadu. Similarly, Chola dynasty's maritime empire between the 9th and 13th century AD, particularly during the reign of Rajaraj Chola I and his successor Rajendra Chola, established a vast maritime empire that extended its influence across Southeast Asia. Indian traders and settlers known as Sembians established commercial ties with the kingdoms like the Khmer Empire, present-day Cambodia, and the Sri Vijaya Empire, contributing to the spread of Indian cultural practices, language, and religion. Some examples of the architectural confluence of India with Southeast Asia are evident not just in Angkor Wat, but the temple complexes of Borobudur and the Prambanan temple from the 9th century. The Borobudur temple complex in central Java, Indonesia, and the nearby Prambanan temple compound stand as iconic symbols of Indianized architecture and religious syncretism in Southeast Asia. Borobudur, the largest Buddhist monument in the world, reflects Indian architectural styles and Buddhist iconography, indicating the profound influence of Indian culture and religious beliefs in this region. The Angkor civilization, for example, from the 9th century to the 15th century AD, the Khmer Empire, centered around the Angkor region of present-day Cambodia, flourished as a major political and cultural power in Southeast Asia. Indian influence, particularly from the Pallava and Chola dynasties of South India, shaped the artistic and the architectural achievements of the Angkor civilization. Temples like Angkor Wat, dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu, and Bayon, dedicated to the Buddhist deity Avalokiteshvara, exemplify the synthesis of Indian and indigenous Khmer elements, illustrating the depth of cultural exchange between India and this region. India and Southeast Asia also share the colonized path because while I'm talking going back to, the medieval times and the early times, but even in the 18th, 19th century, during colonial times, although Thailand was saved from colonial rule, but other parts like Java and Indonesia and Malaysia, India, Singapore, etc. At that time also there was an exchange of a big diaspora. So you can see the influence in places like Malaysia, where Tamil is one of the official languages, and the temple architecture which came even as late as 19th century in these countries. Now the Indian influence, as I mentioned, was in the domain of ideas and beliefs. So whether it was Hinduism or Buddhism, similarly architecture I talked about. If you look at the temples even in Thailand, I mean your prangs are very similar to the shikharas of the temples of northern India. Whether it was the temple complexes of Siam Reap. I'm saying Siam Reap, but because there's more to Siam Reap than just Angkor Wat, the Thaprom temple complex, and the whole concept of Mount Meru. I mean, I went to this place called Nom Kulen, which is about 2 hours away from Siam Reap, where there were 1,000 shivlings in the river. And I was told that, these were constructed there because the whole concept of Devaraja, which came from India, the god king, which was adopted by the Khmer king, especially the Jayavarman II, they wanted to create a mini India in that part of the world. And the purpose of those 1,000 Shivlingas in that river in Nom Kulen was to create a reincarnation, if I may call it, of Mount Kailasha, so that the Khmer king could show himself as the representative of Shiva, although they were Vishnu Bhakts, but as divine entities or the divine ruler. And apparently the Brahmin priests from India came to do the Ashwamedh Yagya and also the anointment of the king as Devaraja and the Chakravarti Samrat. So it goes to beliefs, whether religion, it goes to the traditions of, the Chakravarti ruler or the Devaraja, god kings. And this was not true just of the Khmer Empire, but even in Thailand, if you look at it. I mean, again, because most of you know Thailand better than I do, but I see here the same thing, the presence of the royal Brahmins here, the whole concept of Raja Abhishek, which is a very Indian concept, because in the Western concept, the king is coronated. He's not anointed like it happens here. In the concept of Abhishek also comes from India. Languages and scripts, as we've talked about, I mean, there are such big experts sitting here, so I'm not going to delve into the connections of Pali, Prakrit, and Sanskrit with the languages, not just in Thailand, but across the region, the impact, the words, etc., which were taken into the local languages of Southeast Asia. And interestingly, it goes as far as the Philippines. A lot of people think that this was restricted to the region here, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. But I'm told that even in the Filipino language, the local language, there are a lot of words from Sanskrit which have been taken into the into the local language. I mean, it can be corroborated, as I said, from the names by which ancient Indians referred to Southeast Asia as Suvarṇadvīp or Suvarṇabhūmi. Other names derived from Sanskrit by which Southeast Asia was known to Indians was Narikela Dvīp, island of coconuts, and Karpura Dvipa, island of camphor. I mean, I'm told that these were small places. We don't know where they were, but these were the kind of names they had designated them. The importance of Sanskrit to our beliefs is well known, so I will not make that impact. Pali too shares a significant connection. And again, I feel a bit silly talking to the experts about it, but we know the importance of Pali to the study of Theravada Buddhism, and to this date it is still in use in Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Myanmar, etc. Similar impact if you see in terms of the cultural and the architectural I've already spoken about. I always talk about the festivals which were celebrated in India and the similarities, whether it's Loi Krathong or whether it's Songkran and other festivals which are both celebrated in India and in this region. Things like Garuda. I mean, there's a lot written here, so I'm going to skip because I know it's becoming a bit longer. But the gods and the goddesses, the mythology of Samudra Manthan, which we see at the Suvarṇabhūmi airport, all that comes from, or there is a connection. For example, Lord Garuda, I mean, the Indonesian national airline is known as Garuda. Here we know it's one of the national symbols of Thailand. Loy Krathong is very similar to Kartik Purnima, Diwali, we all know that. The Thai reading why? It's similar to Indian Namaste or what I come from Tamil Nadu. So these are many connections, and these connections are existing in our daily lives. I mean, talking about Thailand every day, I see these similarities. But the interesting thing is that they have merged with the local culture. So today, a lot of Indians don't know about this influence, and India's again, influence is a bad word. India's impact or exchanges with Southeast Asia. Similarly, Thais don't know about it. And I see even in Cambodia and other parts, there is a vague understanding that these connections have gone on, exchanges have gone on for 2,000 years. But in general, people don't know about it. The Thai names, for example, I think 95% of them, we have similar names in India. Here, the pronunciation might be different, or the way you write those names are different, but the root is the same. So it is in that context, I think, seminars like the ones which are being held today are very pertinent, because it's, I think, our responsibility to pass on this knowledge to the young generation, the TikTok generation, who think that the world revolves around TikTok and Facebook, without realizing that, human civilization is a very long one. And starting from the beads which we saw, that was the mode of communication, or, in terms of, that could have been the social media of that time, the beads and the seals. And today we think that TikTok, those 2 minutes of a reel or whatever you call it. But I think it's our responsibility to pass it on to the next generation. This deep connect, and this connect between India and Southeast Asia, especially Thailand, is too deep. And it's, I think, our responsibility that we don't let our future generations forget about it. So I thank, the Sanskrit Study Center, the Silpakorn University, for all their initiatives. And Mr. President, I want to thank through you everyone at the university that this is a very invaluable heritage of humanity. It's not just about India, Thailand, or India or Southeast Asia, but it just is a symbol of how, people, howsoever different they look, howsoever far away they come from, can peacefully coexist, and as human civilization create a composite syncretic culture and live peacefully. And this message is very important in today's time because of the war you see, because of the challenges of climate change and, humanitarian disasters which are unfolding. So let me stop there. I had a written script, but I didn't use it because I felt a bit, how should I say, overwhelmed, because there are such great scholars sitting here, and I'm a failed economist, So, but thank you so much for letting me. I'd love to hear what Dr. Tirakiyata and Professor Bunchar have to say. And once again, thank you so much. And I hope that the partnership continues in the future, and we promote these global heritage of humanity to not just in Thailand, but beyond the shores of Thailand. So thank you once again, and thank you for your patience. And I'm sorry if I was a bit long. Thank you so much.